Good evening from Vietnam. Good morning to you, Ambassador Terry. Thanks a lot for being so nice, so kind as always to join and spend your time sharing your insights and stories to our audience. And on behalf of the listeners around the world, Terry, thank you very much.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be with you again. You're just a terrific person. You and your lovely wife, Vivian, lovely to have this time with you.
Thank you very much. And as I shared with you, the topic today that we discuss is about wisdom because we want to pick your insights, your experience, to share it with our audiences so that we can help them on the way to growing. They can pick the wisdom that you accumulated and they can apply to their lives. That would be wonderful, right?
Right.
So just curious, when I asked you to participate into this interview, what was your first thought about the idea?
Do it.
Do it.
You know, I worked with you. We did one a year or two ago. I can't remember how long. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And it was a terrific interview. You're very professional. And so opportunity to speak with you again was automatic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And definitely, when we say that we want to have 50 people to interview for this one, Vivian, she's not in Vietnam at the moment. We just said, make sure we have Simon, we're sure we have Terry onto this program. And I said, absolutely. Yeah. So, Ambassador Terry, we want to start simple first. And along the way, we're gonna have a conversation like usual. So to kick off the program, I would like to ask you the basics of this conversation is a definition of wisdom. So in your own word and experience, what is wisdom to you?
Wisdom is adding up and culminating, gathering all the things you've learned in life. And then hold on to them so that when you give service or help to another human being, you can draw on those experiences and things that you've learned to help them with whatever they may be dealing with at the time. I do business consulting, and I'm a world-class thought leader, top 10 thought leader, and top 100 voices in leadership. And, so I have a lot of different people come to me from a lot of different industries, which is very exciting, really, because when they come to me and work with me as a mentee, I mentor a lot of very senior executives and political people. When they come to me, usually I don't have any experience in their industry, which is a strength. A lot of people think that's a weakness, but actually it's a strength, because now I can look from the outside in to their business and their industry from a customer's perspective, which is the opposite of what people on the inside, if you will, in the corporation that they're mentoring with or whatever, can help you with the corporation, but they may not be able to help you with other things. Whereas, when you need help with your corporation or your state or whatever it is, having somebody that's customer oriented or looking at things from the outside, I'll go and research what the current trends are from the perspective of a customer, and then I will mentor and bring them along from that perspective. And that's been very successful.
Wow. Well, so now you have an eyes up an outsider, because the one who inside has been so busy with the day-to-day operation, they're not able to open and see the different aspect out there, right? Yeah. So I note down in here is important is the process of gathering information throughout your life, right? And being able to hold on to it a little bit. So when people and other people out there need help, then it's the time for you to draw the experience and draw those insights out to help the people to achieve what they want. So am I interpret it correctly from your own definition of wisdom?
Yeah, wisdom, having knowledge is one thing. Having wisdom is really quite something else. You know, if you ask a question to a person and they give you a response that just answers the question, that's one thing. The
Mm.
wisdom is not only answering the question, but putting a helpful twist on it so that you can be of value to the person that you're communicating with.
Wow. And that is hard to distinguish because a lot of the time we got asked a question. So our tendency is to answer the question and give the knowledge that we know about the topic being asked, right? So now you're saying wisdom is take it to the next level. So how could we get to that habit of not only give out the knowledge, but also trying to go into the next level and give out the wisdom to others?
Yeah, that comes with experience, you know, particularly if you have experience in the situation that they're asking you about. Like back in the day when I was coaching,
Mm.
and people would come to me, I would tell them, okay, go do ABC and come back when you're done. And I'll give you the next thing to do. That is just teaching them to go do things, right? Now, as a mentor with wisdom, it's okay, you have a great idea there. What's the background? Give me some thoughts of what you're thinking inside of yourself that you think it is necessary or profitable or whatever that happens to be for you to do that. And, you know, is it possible for you to do that? Okay. What is going on in the industry for which you are thinking about working in that brings you to the idea that you can be successful there, right? Well, when we do things, we don't do them to do them normally. We do them to be successful at it. We love to be loved by people, and so a mentor will advise you on things to think about and draw an agreement that that my client will go out and not only do ABC, but before they start A, they might want to look at the industry from the customer's point of view. Is it still going? Does it have a future? Or are you creating something that's brand new? And which is very exciting. And I can reflect back on my experiences of starting my various businesses. I've created and sold one, and I've created a number of them in the past. And we have, as you know, we have a global company now. And so that wisdom is the diamonds in the rough for the client.
Diamond in the rough for the clients, right?
Yes.
So in your life, you met a lot of people, amazing people. You definitely met a lot of diamonds in the rough, right? So what do they have in common?
They're very genuine. They're
Genuine.
authentic. They have a desire to not only be successful, but what they do helps people. Okay. I don't affiliate with people that are building products or services or chemicals or anything like that that hurt people. I won't work with them. As you may remember, I wrote a book, Profiling for Profit, What Crossed Arms Don't Tell You. That's how to profile a person in front of you on screen or in person. Are they genuine? Can they be trusted? And do they understand the message that you're giving them? Okay, in real time. And that has been very, very beneficial, because when I have the initial conversation, with a person on a lot of most all the time now it's on Zoom.
Mm.
And I can weigh in on whether or not I want to work with this person, and can they work with me? It's got to be a
Ah,
two-way street. And
wow.
mentoring normally does not have a defined timeline. Although I tell clients, if you want to work with me, it's here's basically what we do, and we can modify it accordingly. But I want you to give me a verbal agreement that you're going to stay with me for 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, we'll have a conversation whether or not you want to continue. If you want to continue, there's no contracts, no ending, nothing. You just stop when you want to stop. Okay.
Mm.
And that's got to be by both of us. I might not want to work with them after 3 months, and vice versa. So 3 months is 1 month to court and have our relationship building. The next month is to get some ideas rolling from the client, and the third month, what are you doing with it, right? Is what I'm teaching them and advising them on getting in there and doing something positive. Sometimes it's not. And even though they want to continue to work with me, I say, I've been thinking about somebody you probably ought to work with instead.
Mm.
Right? Because our relationship's not working.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, go ahead. You were saying something.
well, and I don't want them to feel months down the road that I'm taking their money every month
Yeah.
and giving them nothing, because they're not really going anywhere. And so if I can't help them go somewhere, and or they don't really want to go where they say they want to go, we're wasting both of our times and their money. So, I'm at a place, my wife and I are at a place now financially where we don't have to make the money. It's not about the money. It's about helping people and enjoying it.
Yeah, like you say earlier, right? This genuine, authentic, and what they do help other people, but not, like the other way around. So I've been seeing a lot of people these days are very rushing in their life, rushing to quickly get it, get things done, right? And maybe because of the way organization is organized that way, so you have to be productive, more productive, more productive, right? But in the process of accumulating wisdom, it couldn't be fast. It has to be progressively through life, right? So how can you help me and my audience not to be rushing in that process, but at the same time can fasten the product, the process to accumulate wisdom for our lifestyle?
I've written a number of books on this. One of mine that I get to a lot of CEOs of corporations is Consortium Business Model for the 21st Century.
Mm.
What that is an achievement-based, people-centric approach to doing business and building their business, regardless of the size of the corporation. Achievement-based means develop a vision for the future without a timeline or a goal attached to it. People miss timelines and goals regularly. And you also set up a roadway to get to that division with some stops along the way that are necessary to build what you need to ultimately get to your vision. Well, when your team, your people, your company hits one of those milestones, you have a big celebration.
Mm.
And people are excited that they did it and they accomplished something amazing. And then you sit down and you say, okay, what do we learn here? What are we taking with us for the next stop along the way? And here's the most important part of this model, is it's achievement based. So we all have a bad day. We all have the morning that things just didn't go right, and we get to work and we don't really want to be there. We're in a bad mood. And we may stay that way all day. We may even get some other people around us in a bad mood just because, okay? But when you change that, when everybody in the room is achieving regularly, here's what happens. You have a better, more charged up employee every day. They can't wait to get to work and do what they're doing because it's so exciting. Okay. They eat better. They have a better relationship at home. They're more attached to their families. That means the employee-related expenses start going down. Your company is safer to work in if you're in manufacturing or something like that, because people are focused on what it is that they're doing. And if somebody comes in and are having a bad day, once they get into that energy of all their coworkers, boom, they're right in there and excited and ready to go again. Okay. So if people are happy and motivated to come to work every day, employee-related expense goes down, as I mentioned, but just as importantly, they aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So your training and onboarding people goes way down. Usually you're onboarding people because you're expanding. Okay. That's consortium, and that's very important going forward. Because people who start missing goals and timelines get less and less authentic and ethical. Lies start coming out, all those kinds of things. You always have to remember a lie. But like, I think it was Samuel, a famous American author, said, you never have to remember the truth.
Oh.
Right? Because the truth's the truth. And it never changes. A lie has to
remember.
Yeah. So you take all of that stress away and you have some honest people who are just can't wait to achieve the next milestone.
Wow. So since you talked about it already, and I think that leaders definitely they would want to create that culture where people bond it more, people celebrate more, and bring their full selves to the workplace, right? Because that is how they create the healthy workplace. But because of the healthy workplace, you're gonna bring home a healthy employee also to have conversation at home. So what can the leaders learning from those wisdom to start doing it now to make those change?
Well, easiest way to do it is buy my book. It's available on Kindle on Amazon as well as in print. I write what are known as airplane books. You can read this book on an airline from Hanoi to Hong Kong. You can read the whole book, okay? Or Paris to London. It is a book. It's written or electronic, but it's marketing material. It's what this business can look like. And because it is not formulated around a particular size of a company, it can be a single person up to Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the world, with 400, 500,000 people working for them. Same concept, right? When the company has a vision, each division, sub-country, company, different companies that work for that company can each have their visions that work towards the bigger vision, and work centers can have theirs. It can just keep going down to a person who's so excited about going to work. I like to use a bank analogy. In banks, small branches, you can drive up and make deposits and do those kinds of things. That person is pretty well down on the levels of work, but that person is thinking all the time. That person may come up with an idea that saves the company money, makes the company money, or anything like that. And then I recommend that the company pay that person a bonus of a % of what was saved and or grew in new revenue. Now that person who's struggling, don't know how to make the rent or mortgage payments, suddenly has a nice big bonus to catch up all their bills, That person can't wait to come to work,
Yeah.
right? Because they're well thought of and taken care of. And they're valued for who they are and the position they're in. Because really the difference between the CEO of Bank of America, we'll use this, and that bank teller at a small little branch in Philadelphia, the only difference between those two is they do different jobs. And because the jobs they are doing pays this much, that's how much they make. They change jobs, that's how much they make. That's, you know, that's the motivation. It's not this great king or queen at the top of the ladder and I am nobody. That is limiting beliefs, and that won't get you anywhere. But if you're sitting there in that teller's window thinking about how you can take care of your customers better and more efficiently with fewer errors, and why not get a nice big bonus, right? In one of my examples, I do a live, which will go live here at 10 a.m. Eastern, called 2-Minute Tuesdays. And one of those, I gave him the example, hey, CEO, how about if you approve and the board approves this new revenue generating idea that somebody way down in the company came up with? How about you personally walking into their workspace with a check and thanking them? How powerful is that? Everybody around them sees the person walking in and shaking the hand of that person who created something that contributes to not only their customers but their company. That's powerful. You can't buy that.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
And then one thing like that, it will lead into a whole wave of change across all branches, all departments, right? Because people now see that their voice are heard, and then they start to think and look at the ideas generating from that. If an organization can accumulate those ideas and bring up the best out of that, that's wisdom right there. Right, that's wisdom right there into the day-to-day operation. Instead of spend a lot of money hiring a consulting company out there just to come in and do it restructuring and stuff like that, I think from within we have so many talents within already to that missingly used. Yeah,
Absolutely. On point.
yeah. So go back to the note I put in here. Knowledge is not wisdom, but it looks like that in order for us to gain our wisdom, we have to first at least have some baseline of knowledge, right? And from there, it's growth from there. So how could you really open the reservoir for you to learn in different industry, different people, different kind of jobs, so that you can accumulate those kind of knowledge along the way for you up until this point, Ambassador Terry?
Back in 1400s England, a very learned man, that's what they called smart people in those days, a learned man named Samuel Johnson. I read this quote in the very first professional manual I had back when I was a young man in the United States Navy. Knowledge is of two kinds: that what we possess and whereupon to find it. Okay? So if you don't possess all the experience necessary in an industry, you can certainly read about it. There isn't anything in the world really right now that a person cannot find information about. Okay. The history of it, all the way to modern day, new changes and updates and those kinds of things. Knowledge is power. And the quality of the mentoring or your ability to coach or whatever, it has, it's one thing to know about something. It's completely another thing to not push it on somebody. Do this, do that, do this, do that. Don't worry about it. I'm the boss. Do this, do that. But rather do it from a wisdom point of view, like, well, people, we're not really progressing as quickly as we can. Let's all get together and figure out what we can do together to be better and to get ourselves back on track. We've got to, we have shareholders and stakeholders that depend on us as well as our families. Okay.
Mm.
So let's get together. Let's get and see what we can do. That's a mentor. That's coming from wisdom.
Mm. So you mentioned the word quality in here. So quality of knowledge, quality of information is important, but in this world, we have a paradox of choice, right? So much information available, and filtering those that important at the quality to put into our system is taking really exhausting our mental mental energy. So how could you personally, for Ambassador Terry, to filter the information to put into your knowledge base? What did you do?
Well, keeping abreast of what's going on around you, both in your industry, the industries that service you, your bank, whatever, okay? What's trending out there to take better care of the family that you live with? If you spend time on yourself, I often say, love yourself first, because you can't give what you don't have. All right. And if those of you who are listening in wonder how that works, just ask somebody that's been married 3 or 4 times or have been through a lot of relationships, a lot of jobs. There's something wrong there. Okay. With the exception of people like me, I like going into new jobs and new industries. Okay. I'm not a good employee. I don't want to go in there and nest egg. I want to go in there and get something done. And when it's time for me to do something else, I'll go do that. So running a consulting and professional service and strategy company is perfect for me, but that's me. Okay. That way I can give my 100% to my client at the time they need it. And then it's time to move on.
Wow. I want to bring you to when you were really, really, really young, maybe just a little kid, Ambassador Terry. So when you were little, what was your dream about the works you are going to do when you're grown up?
I was going to be a doctor.
You're going to be a doctor.
When I was 8 years old, I lived in a small town, and there was a very small library. I decided I was going to be a doctor. And so I went over to the library and I found a medical book and I started to read it.
8 years old.
That medical book was way above my ability to understand it. So I moved myself over to the library's big, thick dictionary, and whenever I hit a word I didn't know, I'd look it up. And then I'd keep reading. I'd look it up. It took me a long time to read that book, but I finished it. And I learned a lot about life. I didn't need the birds and the bees speech from the dad. I could explain it better to him than he could me. And I stayed with the idea that I was going to be a medical doctor until probably 13 or 14, when girls became part of my life more so than a career or anything like that. I'd rather chase girls than not. But since I was in middle school until high school graduation, I changed what I wanted to be 3 or 4 times, and without regret. I just don't want to be a medical doctor anymore. I want to be somebody who studies the oceans. That was when I graduated. I wanted to be an oceanography person. Well, I had no opportunity to go to college. So I joined the U.S. Navy, with the idea that I would stay in it until I could retire, and then I would use the benefits of that retirement to go and go to college along the way, so that I could become what I was wanting to become.
Mm.
Well, I was doing exactly that. I was taking the classes that everybody has to take to get their 4-year degree.
Mm.
When a friend of mine at my duty station said, "Wow, you ought to come over and take some of these marketing classes. This woman who's teaching that is gorgeous, and she's a lot of fun." And I go, "I'm married." And he goes, "So what? So am I. I'm not going to date her, but she's a lot of fun." I said, "Okay, I'll take one of the classes." Well, I did. It was a marketing class, and I got hooked immediately.
Mm.
And I pretty well stayed a marketer ever since. And that came from an outside influence. It wasn't me figuring out the next thing I was going to do. I was going to be an oceanographer. Not anymore.
No.
And I've never regretted that. Like I said, I've built multiple companies. I built one and sold one once, and my company right now is global. So what I tell younger people is don't key in on one thing. Allow yourself to just move along with the times. The average person who is married, certainly in this century, is a person that is not going to start and end with the same company. Not going to happen.
Yep.
Okay. So have that in mind, that you're not going to be there forever.
Yeah.
And the company knows you're not going to be there forever. So how can you best serve each other while you're there?
Yeah.
That's key. That makes you a happier person. It gives you a better reputation in the business, and a really high quality recruit for somebody to come and get you when they see how good you are. Okay. So that would be the coolest thing that has happened to me, is you can change your mind anytime. There's no good choices or no bad choices. There's simply choices. And we can always change our choice as we find out more information that we didn't know when we made the original choice.
The way I see it, Ambassador Terry, at 8 years old, you wanted to become a doctor. And throughout your career life, now you are a doctor in just a different way. So you have been, the doctor keep people in good shape, right? Like physical shape. You're keeping people in a good mental and and emotional shape. So it's a different kind of doctors. So like a full circle.
Yeah, I just don't have the piece of paper it says doctor, but I've got the experience and the knowledge, that's for sure.
And that's leading me to the question about the repetitive behavior cellular regression. So was that some part related to the thing that you read at 8 years old, or how did you come to that RBC model?
It's kind of funny. I was in high school. We moved around a lot. I went to 7 different high schools before I graduated. We moved around a lot. My father was in construction. And so I needed one more class at this high school that I was at, and there was not a study hall available. I already had one study hall. And the only one class that was left was psychology. So I took it. And the teacher was very boring and dry, but the suggested reading list, kind of drew it to me. So I did a lot of reading in those books with the idea that I wasn't going to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just going to get through the class. But there's some things that I can learn to be a better person. So I graduate from high school, and 50 years later, I'm working with somebody, helping them online. I was in the northern central United States, and they were in Australia. And a hunch came to mind about going to a memory where you freeze frame the memory into a picture. so that there's no story or motion in the memory. If everything's stopped, you're looking at a photograph. If there's no motion or emotion, then there's no story or anything for you to be reacting to. And if that is present, then the future doesn't make any difference. This is just a story. It has nothing to do with Uncle Bob walking through with his undershorts on or some crazy thing like that. It's about a memory, and using your five senses, you inventory the memory. So here's what happens. When we use our five senses as our key indicator of things, we're using the back base of the brain, what's known as the baby brain, is where the five senses are located. And if there is something that somebody's working on that they can't get rid of, repetitive behaviors, PTSD, self-sabotage, all those things, they are not going to know that there's an amnesic memory back there, which was created in very early childhood. And so you can't use that neural pathway because it's blocked off. We call it the active block. And then when you're using your five senses to go back in time, you're creating a new neural pathway back to that area of the brain, but a different way. Okay. And once you get back to that area, there's nothing blocking you from seeing everything that's in your memories from that time frame. And you're able to find the memory that is causing all the trouble. And you're not broken. Amnesia is not a disorder or something wrong. Amnesia is a protection device, a natural protecting device in the brain. And you get to find that memory. You get to go into the memory without any emotions. You're not afraid of anything. You're fully present with what's going on. And you find the person who was responsible for the event. Okay. And we call that the highly emotional event because it's not always somebody hurting you. You see something you don't understand and you really react to it. And you're a little baby, you have no language skills, so you can't tell mom and dad that just happened and it really hurts and blah, blah, blah. But amnesia will go, okay, I can protect you, so don't worry about it. And then as you get older, the amnesia learns how you think, and it blocks and deflects anything that comes down that neural pathway to protect you. Well, what ends up doing is it cuts off all memory from that time backwards. You know, I had a client once that had no memory before first grade, none, until they went through the CR process. And so by doing so, that neural pathway that's blocked is always going to be blocked. But there's a new neural pathway back to the back of the brain that allows you full access to everything. Now, here's the key, Ha. When the person gets into that memory, it's like it's happening live. Perfect recall. You smell everything, you hear everything, you know everything that's going on in the memory immediately, but you're not afraid. There's no emotion there. You're observing what's going on instead of going into fits of fear and those kinds of things. So when you go through a little review of the memory and the person, you get to tell the person off who created it. Whether they did it on purpose to you or not doesn't matter. It affected your whole life. And when you're done, you have all that memory back, but B, all these repetitive self-behaviors and PTSD event that just keeps going like a broken record stops. That's repetitive behavior cellular regression in a very abbreviated way.
So they can do it themselves, or they have to be monitored by you or professional or qualified person?
Well, myself, obviously, or one of my practitioners who has been through the process and wanted to learn how to do it to help others. They can take other people through it. And that's how it expanded so rapidly. Okay, I went to conferences and spoke from the stage, and people from all over 3 or 4 continents at the time. They've expanded since, but we're in the room and learned how to do this. Okay, and I'm an ongoing support person, so they have a question about something, they can always reach out to me. But that's really how it works. I won't train anybody that has not gone through the 30-day process themselves. And there's 30 days because general science all agree that it takes 30 days to repattern the brain to do or not do something. So this process is 30 days in length. And we have something for them to think about most days. There's a lot of days off where they just do their thing. But that's how that's done. And so that's what we call RBCR, trademarked here in the United States, and how it works. You don't have to be a mental services trained person or licensed or anything like that. No counseling, no therapist or anything like that, although we have some. We have a couple of psychologists that do this work. Because anybody, you can learn it, anybody can learn it, it has expandability very nicely.
And I hope that more and more people will be able to access such information, access the session with you, because I think a lot of us growing up have something in part of our brain, our memory. We want to eradicate them. We want to keep it intact. But the older we get, the more we want to open that box up and try to figure it out, try to make right of it for ourselves, right? So it's the truth set us free. That's the important. Yeah.
Now, if you can be anything, be kind, but don't take any grief off of anybody, right? Be yourself. Be you, right?
Yeah. I wrote in here one beautiful thing that you came up when you were in high school at that psychology class, and just say, learn to be a better man, a better person. All right? Yes. So why you say that? You just read so that you can learn to be a better person. While you read, you can be anything, right?
Yeah, Gandhi once said, be the person you want to see in the world, right? And we're born with an already established personality. We have who we have. Our temperament is already ingrained. And as we get older, we become witness to various stimuli around us that will affect in the world, that will affect the way we act and react to that stimulus. Okay, and if you're around a certain type of thought process, good or bad, right? People around you that you love and trust, you're going to mirror them, at least for a while, until your personality basically comes in. Now, I have always been, as far as I can tell, a really nice person who likes to help people. I can remember helping little kids when I was a little kid, and some of the people that I've worked with along the way became really nice people. Because when it really gets down to it, the people that I've worked with, that I'm in it for me and that's it. I don't care about you. They have a very miserable life, no matter this amount of success. But when they change that idea to the more I help the people around me, the better I feel, the better my life is, and the more successful I actually become. Because there's going to be a point in time where you're going to get so high where it's going to affect your job and you're going to start getting fired all the time, right? Yeah. Or worse yet, you're going to make those around you so miserable and all of them quit all the time and you have nobody to work with.
Yeah.
So it's important. Be kind.
Be kind.
It's free.
And that is why my wife and I, we're ambitious about this program because that's where we can have the collective wisdom from different people in different country, in different, stage of life, to transfer it so that people in different, stage of life can learn and absorb it. And one thing we saw is really, really challenging is a lot of young generations is isolating themselves from wisdom that they can learn from the elder people, the people, and have experience ahead of them. So because of that, they keep walking on the road empty or reinventing the wheel, which is very, very, very physically, consuming the energy and the mental energies also, in which they can, let's see, learn from what Ambassador Terry can offer, or learning from Simon High can offer, and things like that. So what could we do to bridge that gap, to help the generations starting to share more, learn more, and like you mentioned earlier, be kind people, simple like that.
Well, like you and I spoke before coming on camera, you know, hire me to come and speak to your group or your company, and I'll show you the basics of how to create that. My book's on Amazon. I tell people, Google Ambassador Terry Earthwind Nichols. There's one in the world.
Mm.
Okay. If you Google Terry Nichols, there's 17,000 or more in the United States alone. So Google me and read about me, research about me. And if it resonates with you, reach out to me on one of the social medias or via my website or whatever. And let's have a chat for 15 minutes and see, A, can I help you? And B, if I cannot, who do I think can help you? Because we have a very nice reputation here, my wife, business partner, and I, and that is go see Terry and Linda, because if they don't know, they know who does. And that's a beautiful reputation to have.
Uh-huh. Beautiful. See, that is reputation that both of you got because and are having because of the willingness to add value to the other people, right? From putting wisdom, not just the knowledge, but take it to the next level, adding the wisdom into the process of helping people along the way, right? I have two last questions for this conversation. And the first question is, I noted down that you mentioned the word thinking 6 times during our conversation. Okay? And think, the word think, right? And to me, thinking is critical because that's leading to, how we're gonna take action and stuff, right? So if you can help people to improve their ability to think in just a few practices, few things that they should be, learning and applying, what would those advice that you will give to people?
Here's what I tell my clients.
Yes.
When you are considering doing something or not doing something, consider, will it hurt anybody, including myself? And can it make a difference? That motivates you to think deeper and get more knowledge before you actually make a decision. Like big projects or big things that I'm thinking about, I'll think about it for 3 days minimum before I make a decision, if it's a big thing. Mm. And that gives me time for it to just see how it works inside my brain, and consequently how my brain would work taking on that decision or not taking the decision, with the idea that nothing's right or wrong. It's, does it work for me or not? Okay. Because if it doesn't work for me, I can't love me. And if I can't love me, I can't love you. So that's really, thinking is an interest in an outcome that you're searching for, whatever that is, right? The more that you read and learn about things in the world that are not really directly about you or your world around you, the better your understanding of the world and your ability to think becomes a lot clearer.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful. I say I have two last questions, but I would like to add one more in here. All right, so it make it the last two. Sorry. So we talk a lot about what to do in order for us to have wisdom, but I forgot to ask what not to do because it's critically important too. So, in your opinion, what shouldn't we do so that we can continue to be wiser with time?
That's actually a very good question, Hop. And that is, make up your mind that you're going to be a positive influence for all of those around you, and that you will not become a negative influence for people that you don't relate to or don't get along with you or you don't get along with them. Don't do anything against them. Just be you. And being you will get you to the right decisions. And the right decisions for you may be the wrong decisions for somebody else, but that's their journey, not yours. Okay? And the filters things that I talked about at birth and very early on in your life, you know, that different stimuli can make you think in a certain way. But there's a point in everyone's life where their maturity gets to a level where they know right from wrong. And then it's a choice.
Wow.
The first time you do something, you didn't know it was the outcome would be what it was. That is a learning situation. The next time it happens, you made a choice. That was a conscious decision to do it again. The exact same way, you knowing the result, but you're going to do it anyway, but you think you're smarter the second time. That's all ego. Ego is a good thing to protect you. Ask yourself questions. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? That's a good thing. Using the ego to hurt someone else or to do unethical things, that's completely a different thing.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for very beautiful and insightful information. Thanks a lot for that. So the last question is about the future. So we haven't been talk for a year or so. But we communicate on LinkedIn very often. But interaction like this it's been a while. So I think my wife and I and our audience very curious if there is anything exciting you and Linda is working on you want to share with me and the audience so we can celebrate with you all now.
I'm just continuing on. I took the summer off from all of my broadcasts on social media. And now I'm, as I mentioned earlier, 2 Minute Tuesdays is alive on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook that talks about the issues of the day. And I'm very excited about that. I'm writing another book of my 13-book series about my life, that at the end of the 13 books, I'm going to put it together as one big biography or memoir. I'm excited to get moving on chapter 3 of the 13 chapters. And I'm getting older, so I've got to work on that book pretty soon or the book will be too big. But that's the exciting thing about the future. Who do I get to help today? You know, about every day in every way, life just gets better and better if you let it. You know, we either learn in a situation or we learn. What went wrong, we learned. What went right, we still learned. And how do we take that to the future for that wisdom we've been talking about? So that's what I'm excited about. I can't wait till tomorrow.
So now it's on chapter 3. Yes. So I believe that collective of insights of your life story will be very very important for a lot of people to learn from your experience, learn from your up, your downs, your right, your wrong, your and that will help them to re to change, and to see something that can be meaningful to apply to their lives and make them into the direction for themselves getting better, right? So thanks a lot for this beautiful conversation, Ambassador Terry. I really enjoy every time we have a chance to talk like this. So let's talk more, let's talk often, okay?
Absolutely. I enjoy these immensely, my friend. So thank you for inviting me on. I'm very honored that you thought of me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please tell me that I say hello and enjoy the week, okay?
Okay.
Bye bye, my friend. Thank you.
Bye.